Welcome back. All right, so news of the day video for all you fine people for your Friday, October the 28th. Relatively busy night tonight in the NHL, busy day tomorrow, of course. So coming out of last night's action, though, there's going to be a suspension. Michael Rasmussen has a hearing today with Department of Player Safety for a high stick on Krejci. I'm expecting probably a game. It might be two. I'm not expecting it to end up being a ton of time off for Rasmussen. And of course, immediately fans are pointing out whatever else might have happened, and well, what about this? And why aren't you talking about it's interesting. They could post almost anything. They could post happy holidays from Department of Player Safety, and the answers they would get would probably be along the lines of, "Shut up! Why didn't you suspend this? Remember this? Remember this incident? Merry Christmas, that." So yeah, it's it's a thankless job, I would think, working at Department of Player Safety. Probably not a lot of presents from fans coming into that department. All right, that being said, we'll see what he gets and what happens from there. But there was a trade last night. So this was announced while I was watching the games, and I didn't shut down watching 10 games to do a video on this because it's a minor deal. So Jack Studnicka, who had been given every opportunity by Boston over the last couple of years, they gave him chances in the top six. They gave him chances in the bottom six. They tried him out as like the fourth line center, and it just never quite clicked. You would get a game or two where Studnicka was playing well, and then it would fall off again. And there was nothing that really stood out about his game that was going to keep him in the lineup. So Boston has traded him to the Vancouver Canucks. The Canucks, who are dealing with a lot of injuries and could definitely use a forward that. In his case, he's still young. He's 23. And there's the possibility that a change of scenery could really help. So I really hope the best for him, of course, in Vancouver. And as to what Boston's getting, they're getting Michael DiPietro, who has not been trending in the right direction over the last couple of years. That being said, he's still young as well. And so Boston picks up a goaltender that was a highly thought of prospect as recently as 2 years ago. And they may very well be able to turn him around. We've seen goaltenders change organizations, and that really helped. They also picked up a defenseman who was drafted in 2021, 19-year-old Jonathan Myrenberg. So looking at that, I thought to myself, okay, so there's something Boston sees in Myrenberg that tells them that he has a chance of being an NHLer. And so we'll see how that works out and how this trade ages. There's the possibility that none of the three end up being of any consequence at the NHL level. There's the chance that all three do as well. And as a fan of both teams, I hope all three players excel in their new environment. And I'm glad to see DiPietro got traded. He requested that trade a while ago, and I haven't heard anything about him complaining further. So he's been decent about it. I'm glad that's finally taken place, and hopefully he's happy in Boston. And Boston needed some goaltending depth as well. Ottawa news. Artem Zub joins the walking wounded list. He'll be out 1 to 2 weeks with an upper body injury. So Zub, one of the better defensemen on Ottawa and one of the more underrated players in the NHL. Yeah, upper body injury for him. Hopefully he's back in a week rather than 2 weeks. Good news too, Talbot is traveling with the team. He's not expected to play yet, and DJ Smith even said he feels he's a few weeks away. But I wonder about that because he is practicing with them. And I'm not saying that Smith's, telling any kind of a fib. I think he's just trying to set the expectation of still being a few weeks out and probably crossing his fingers that Talbot's back sooner. For Forsberg, he's played well. He has definitely played well, but if they had the battery of both goaltenders being healthy and good to go, that would help. And I'm sure that Hellberg is hoping for probably one more game at least, so he gets another opportunity to prove that when he hits the waiver wire, somebody should pick him up. And it's possible that somebody does, because there's always going to be a team that's having a goaltending issue at that time. Tonight, of course, is a big night for the Arizona organization, and this is the start. This is the start of the plan. I saw all the comments yesterday about moving to Quebec. It's cute. It's cute that people still think there's any hope at all of this team not staying in Arizona. There isn't. The team's staying in Arizona. They open Mullett Arena tonight. They're there for multiple seasons, and then the plan is to have an arena in Tempe. And if it's not ready, then they'll stay in Mullett Arena, I would think, for extra seasons. There is that option there. Of course, there's talk about, the dressing rooms being ready and what is or isn't ready with Mullett Arena. This is why they're going on a 14-game road trip, so they can really make sure that they've got everything in order. So tonight's game, it could be interesting to see what kind of facilities they have in this arena at this point, comparatively speaking, with what NHL players are used to, right? It might feel more like you're playing a university game, more like you're playing, a junior hockey game here in Canada. And that might be great for players. Players might really enjoy that. It's something completely different, right? So that opens up tonight. And again, they're not going to Quebec. They're not going anywhere. It's not going to happen. The Quebec dream has faded. Quebec City's not getting a team unless there's an expansion, or unless Florida needed to get out of their lease with their building and had nowhere else to go. And even then, they'd probably move closer to Miami. Nichushkin won't be playing tonight for the Colorado Avalanche. It's a lower body injury for him, so Martin Kaut is in the lineup. For Nichushkin, he's off to a fantastic start to the season. So I can only assume that it's his lower back from carrying the Avalanche to this point in the season. It's my expectation anyways. So, hopefully that's nothing major, and hopefully it is just day-to-day. But these things that are day-to-day can turn into week-to-week. Quinn Hughes, for instance. So we'll see. Tonight there's a debut going on for Columbus against the Boston Bruins. David Yurchek is going to make his NHL debut. And of course, it was reported yesterday that Brad Marchand, who played last night and played really well, won't be playing for Boston tonight. So with Yurchek in the lineup, maybe Columbus gets a boost from that. We'll see how many minutes he gets and what kind of role he plays. But he's stepping in because Boquist is out with a broken foot. And everybody else is hurt too. So with everybody being hurt, you might as well go to Yurchek. And so we'll see how the first-round draft pick from this past draft does tonight. A couple of milestones reached. One being reached tonight. Josh Bailey will play his 1,000th game. All of them as a New York Islander. And I have to say that Bailey is a player that there have been rumors about whether or not he's going to get traded for years. There have been points where he was in the trade rumors quite a bit. There have been points where he wasn't. I've definitely seen fans who want to see cap space created, offering up Josh Bailey potentially as a guy that they would cut ties with. But tonight in Carolina, he reaches his 1,000th game and all with the same team. So kudos to him for sticking with it and sticking around. And he's had a pretty good career. Bruce Boudreau reached a milestone last night, and it's about in time. Censored myself on that one. 600 wins for Boudreau. It took 8 games into the season before the Keystone Cops won one last night in Seattle. And he's going to be looking for 601 tonight. I don't know how long Boudreau's going to be a coach in Vancouver. I think that with the start they've had, they probably will keep him on for the rest of this year. And then they probably look in another direction if this season ends up being a nightmare. But Boudreau's been very good, and I have no complaints about Bruce Boudreau, his coaching style in Vancouver. I really never have, and I know the biggest knock against him has been 7-game records in playoffs. That if it's a game 7 and Boudreau's the coach, they're going to lose that game. And I've seen some people say, well, he can't be a very good coach but he is an excellent coach, and reaching 600 wins is remarkable. So kudos to him for that. And here's to hoping that, maybe the Canucks can turn around. Maybe Studnicka is the answer, right? Maybe Studnicka goes onto the second line and has tremendous chemistry with a guy like Horvat. And we're talking in March about how brilliant a move it was to bring in Jack Studnicka. Who knows? But let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you're browsing your way through. You just happened upon this video. Thank you guys so much for watching, for all your support. I will talk to you again soon.